Friday, May 22, 2020, and this will be a regular session for us, and we start at 6:01. Would you kindly do a roll call, please?
Councilmember White?
Here.
Councilmember Martinez? He's just joining.
There he is.
Councilmember Carroll?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara?
Here.
Mayor Santos?
Here. Okay, thank you. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance. Lloyd, can you lead us?
Sure.
Thank you.
Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I think Council Julio Martinez just joined us. Can you?
Yes.
Okay, we're good. Okay, any adjustment on the agenda, tonight's agenda? If not, any conflict of interest disclosure? Okay, let me, we'll open up for the public comments. These public comments for this evening will be taken after the introduction of the item. Instruction on how to participate on public comments are on the front of the agenda and will be posted periodically on your screen. I could open the public comment at 6:03.
You want to do public comment now, or you want to introduce the item first?
Okay, I could do that. I will, there's action items, all approval of all ordinances and resolution to be read by title only. The only items we have in here, the authorization to form an ad hoc committee to include the appointment of 2 city council members to develop recommended guidelines for reopening local businesses.
Hello, sir.
Okay, so we could do
You were trying to get
a
on.
public comment on that. Still will be on 6:03.
Do you want to do discussion first, or do you want to do public comment first?
Email from
We could do the, you wanna,
a webinar. So we're using a webinar.
we could do the discussion?
Yes, sir. Yeah, and
Yeah,
I think,
it says in here.
yeah,
Okay, I'll just, okay, let's do a council discussions in here on this item.
I'm seeing you on my list.
Council? You have to raise your hand so we could see you guys.
So, Mayor, before we get started, I think we now have the ability to raise our hands on the screen, correct?
Yes, you could raise your hand so we could recognize that.
Okay. So we're not having any presentation from the staff as far as what we talked about?
None.
It's VI.
Okay. Well, if it's okay with you, Mayor, I'd like to start.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I think most of you know we had some really great news today that the County of Riverside has been enabled to move further into phase 2, and that our restaurants get to start opening as well as some of the other businesses. I still think it's important that we are there for our community. There are still some businesses, churches, I don't believe are allowed to open, bars and some gyms and other businesses are still waiting to open. But I think 2 weeks ago when we wrote our letter to the supervisors, I think we all agreed at that time that we wanted to make sure when the opening did start to happen, that we were in a position to monitor it, to work with our businesses, and be prepared to help them move along, but to do our best to open in a reasonable and safe manner. And so I still think that it's important that we put something together. And I got this idea from Canyon Lakes. And what Canyon Lakes did was they created a couple town hall meetings on Zoom with different groups of business owners, basically by industry. And then they worked with those business owners and came up with suggestions and guidelines, recommendations, and then created a plan to work with each business and to work with the community as a whole. And that's sort of what got me thinking about us doing something to prepare our businesses for opening, but also to be there for them if they need resources, if they need help dealing with the public, as well as the businesses that are still not eligible to open yet. We need to prepare them. And I think we need to concentrate on our businesses opening in a manner that is safe for not only their customers, but for their employees and everyone else as well. So that's why I asked for this special meeting to be held. And I want to thank you all for going along with that.
Very good. Thank you, Lloyd.
Just to clarify, the raise hand feature in the Zoom meeting, it's not being displayed on our screen. So I know, Mr. Lara, you have that raise hand on there, but it's not showing on our screen. So you'll still have to physically raise your hand.
Thanks, Nicole.
Okay, very good. Mayor Pro Temp Mike Lara.
Yes, thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
When we first agreed to have this meeting, which I thought was a good idea, after doing some additional research, what I had thought I was wanting, at least back on Tuesday, has kind of changed. And obviously, we've got news today regarding the County of Riverside, and they're allowed to move further into phase 2. But researching this, what I found, at least for me, is that the information out there is all over the place. And for me, speaking just for myself, very confusing. You go to the CDC website and that's says one thing, and then the County of Riverside has something different, and then the state has something. At least it seems like nothing is really all in one place. And so tonight, what I was thinking is that it would be nice to have one location for not only for business owners, but for employees who will be going back to work that are going to need assistance, and as well as for the citizens who, that you've seen in other states that are further along in opening up that we are. There's still some concerns with health concerns of people getting back out and into the public and shopping and, do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? And so I think that this ad hoc committee could also help ease those concerns as well by trying to ensure, obviously not monitor everyone, but just try to ensure that businesses are creating a safe and healthy environment, not only for the business, but for the employee as well as the customer. And I think if we can help businesses do that, and provide a resource for employees, because you start thinking about employees going back to work, and now you have schools are still closed, so there could be a daycare or childcare issue, and so people are going to need those resources. And I think if the city can help assist our citizens and employees and business owners with this ad hoc committee, working with city staff, I think it's a step in the right direction, at least for me. So that's all I have for right now, Mayor. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Council? Okay, Councilor Nancy Carroll?
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome.
Yes, I think we've all been on board with this for weeks, actually. You did a letter to the county where you asked for an ability to do a task force across the pass. And because we're all sort of knitted together geographically. And I think this is in the same spirit, actually, of this initiative that you put in the letter. And I do think it's very important, and I agree with Councilmember Lara, that it's actually multifaceted. We need to think from the business owner's perspective as much as we are able to, and look at the complexity of making sure that the message is available and we help them as much as possible to open. We need to think of the employees that have to work in the different businesses. I think I mentioned that quite some time ago, that the employees also need to know what the process is so that they feel safe going back to work in that environment. And there's OSHA guidelines, and there's county guidelines, and there's state guidelines. And we're actually subordinate to all those guidelines. So I think we need to address what we know from the guidelines. And yes, I agree with Councilmember Lara that you have to be careful because there's different aspects of it that are floating from different agencies. But basically, we are subordinate to the county and to the state. So at least that gives us a floor to move forward. And to address what Councilmember White brought up earlier, I believe that the state is actually releasing guidelines. I think they've already done it this afternoon on faith-based communities, on how it's recommended that they should open. So I think we're part of the messaging, and I think we're part of the integration, and I think we need to do our very best to step up to that. And I think that this is a good step, and it's not what you initially put out in your letter, but I do think it's a defined segment that we need to do to show leadership in the community and to make sure that our citizens and our businesses and employees together all get what they need. So I'm fully supportive of doing this ad hoc 2-member council that you're doing. At this time, I would like to make sure when you do your appointment, I am not available to do that. So if you'd please exclude me from your decision making, I would very much appreciate it. But I've already sent information both to the city attorney and the city manager and yourself that I've gotten on guidelines that some of the other cities have done. And some of them are very good. Some of them are sort of checklists and visual certification programs so people feel safe going in the businesses, and checklists so that both the customers and the employees feel safe and that there's a good consistency from one business to another. And I'll be happy to help as a resource in any way that I can. But at this time, I would like you to not include me in your choices. And I thank you very much and support you going forward in this.
Very good. Thank you so much. Council Julio Martinez?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Well, I'm glad to see that the state is finally recognizing the regional variances that exist in the state. So it's really refreshing to see that, and it shows that the state and the counties can work cooperatively. So I'm very appreciative of that. As we go forward with the ad hoc, a lot of the council members have also expressed their concern with the health and safety. So, I'm eager to get started. I'd like to get things open ASAP under the accelerated stage 2 of the state's resiliency roadmap. And I think we should also simultaneously prepare to open under stage 3 as soon as possible and as soon as safest time. But all of this is still while promoting, again, the safety and health guidelines. And that's why it was refreshing to see, as I read the county readiness reopening framework, that 2 of their 4 focus areas are promoted on the health measures, safeguards, and the safety and health procedures for businesses to start opening. So I'm glad to see that, and I'm hoping that the ad hoc committee will look closely at that framework and at the state's resilience roadmap as well as they prepare their comments and their recommendations to council when they come back. So I'm excited, and it is time that we start moving. And now that we have a lot of good news and there's a lot of stuff out there, and I agree with Council Member Laura, it is crazy when I'm starting to research. I mean, there's stuff all over the place. And I want to thank Ashley and the staff for putting that out on our website. It was actually very helpful for me, and I like the links to the county, and it made it easier for me. So I know it's making it easier for the residents as well. So I look forward to hearing what the ad hoc committee has during their discussion and the recommendations they bring. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. No, I really, really appreciate that. I mean, we're going forward, and seeing the order today, that really changed the I call it ball game, which is very good for us. I mean, we could move forward. Looking forward also next week. Let's see if there will be a jump in on the phase 3 on this. So excited about that. Still open up for discussion. I mean, any comment or before we move on the appointment of ad hoc?
Mayor, I'd like to suggest that we determine a mission and a goal for what we want accomplished, but we need to be somewhat flexible. I think that the advantage of doing a two-person council member, I hate to call it a committee because I think they're just going to be working with staff, but in a way that we can move forward quickly and be very agile and be able to respond. So I think what I'd like to get out of tonight is feedback from the council and direction, a mission and a goal on what we want to accomplish with the committee. I know we're talking in general terms. I think we need to, my ideas for a mission and goal is to reach out to the different business owners and their communities and get from them. I think we have to be careful that we're looking at suggestions and recommendations, and we don't want to be in a position, I don't believe, where we're determining guidelines or restrictions or requirements. As you have all pointed out, the state and the county have already laid those out for us. I think our goal or our mission should be to help our businesses navigate those issues, and then bring back to council a report on how things are going, look for suggestions, recommendations, and further guidance at each council meeting. So that, again, I think that the key to this is that it's small enough of a group that we're able to be agile and just move forward with staff and reaching out to our business owners.
Okay. Thank you, Council White. Yes, I saw Nancy in here. Council Carroll, go ahead, Nancy. I think you have to unmute. We cannot hear you.
I know.
There you go.
I'm not fast enough with the mouse. I think we do need to define a mission. I'm a little concerned about being too taut with the mission, because I think if we move quickly, and I think we do need to move quickly, I think that there needs to be a little definition on the other end with what the business owners need. And so I don't want to hard define the mission too much up front, just based on us giving it some thought. I think going out now, doing some quick, very quick interactions with the businesses and getting a sampling of what it is that they feel are their most critical needs would be really good input onto the mission. So while I agree that we do need to have a scope and a mission, I think we got to be careful about not being too hard-lined about the definition of that. So, so that's just input on the mission concept.
Okay.
I agree with you, Nancy.
Okay, very good. I'll go to Council Julio Martinez, and then next will be Byron.
Yeah, I agree. I think a little bit more of a loose mission is what's intended. I do like Councilmember Lara's comments, though. As we go in to find out what their needs are, we should be prepared with information and where to send them to get the information. I think one of the ideas behind the committee is to not only see what the needs are for the businesses, but also be able to promote what the state and the county is looking for, so that our businesses and our city at least are have the information so that we're all consistent. So a lot of problems is when you don't have that leadership in the city, the different businesses are all kind of random. But if we can kind of take that effort to kind of help unify, then I think that'll be good for the city, because then at least we can look, they have the information they need and everyone's getting the same information. They may not all interpret it the same, and that's another story, but at least they get the information and we know that everybody's hearing the same message. So I just want to throw that in.
Very good point. Go ahead, Baron.
I had one question. Have we thought about what the chamber, the Chamber of Commerce, the business group there, that they have contact, they know all these businesses that belong to the chamber, and they may have this data. I agree with what everybody's pulling together, but they may already be on a road in contact with these people, so that we can link in with them and use them as some sort of a resource.
Mayor, may I respond?
Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilor White.
Okay. No, I agree with you, Baron. Yes, we definitely need to include the chamber, and I think they're going to help us pull together the business groups that we need to talk to. But I agree with the loose mission, and I think again we can move faster and better if we have some flexibility to change direction and all of that. So no, I think yes, we definitely reach out to the chamber.
Very good. Thank you. Mayor Pro Temp Mike Lara.
Yeah, all good suggestions, and I do like the looseness of the mission statement. So, if I may, let me just throw something out that I was working on today, and we can maybe as a start. But our mission our mission is to provide assistance which helps to ensure businesses, employees, and customers have a safe and consistent environment in which to conduct their business or which to conduct their shopping or something like that. To me, it's kind of loose, but gives us a focus.
Okay.
That's my thought.
Okay.
I second that motion.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I do like Ashley's website. I think that's going to be a key also. I think she did an excellent job in wrangling all that information together, and it's links. So it's not anything that we're recreating, because I don't want to be another bureaucratic layer, but we're pointing to the right direction. So I just thought Ashley's website was perfect timing for this meeting. Thank you, Mayor.
I agree on that. Lloyd, that's not a motion, right? Because you're giving a second on that.
Oh, it wasn't a motion, Mike? I thought it was a motion.
No, I just throwing something out there that we could work with.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think good. Anything else? So we could move on. Nancy,
Mayor?
you want to say something? Council
Question?
Carol, go ahead.
Do we have, I don't know, do we have any public comments? And should we take the public comments before we finalize? I know you said afterwards, but I don't know if we have any public comments.
Nope. I will answer that. I mean, the way it's set up in here is after our discussion will be public comments.
Okay.
And then we do the appointment and more discussion.
All right. Thank you.
You're
Mayor.
okay on that?
Yeah,
We're
I
fine?
am. Sure.
Okay. Very good. If none, I mean, we could, open up for, public comment. We're good? Anything else? Okay.
Whatever you want.
Okay, we'll go on the public comments at 6:25. Is there any public comment on this,
Yes, sir.
Nicole?
We have 11 attendees on the webinar.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I will start to unmute in the order of attendance,
Very good.
and I will start the timer so that each speaker has 3 minutes.
Thank you. Go ahead. That'll be interesting.
You are now on the line with City Council, and you have a 3-minute time limit. Go ahead. Are you there? Can you hear us?
What's the name?
There's no name. It's just a phone number.
Oh.
Are you there?
Can you hear us? I mean, you could give your name.
Nicole, are you speaking to me? This is the city attorney.
No, it's a caller. I mean,
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the next.
there was an
Okay, you've been
Hi, I was unmuted, but I have no comments at this time. Thank you.
Are you there? No comment? Okay.
Okay, I'm moving on to the next number. Okay, you've been unmuted.
Hello.
Have a 3-minute time limit for
Yes,
public comment.
I'm Glenn Stoll. I live in the Beaumont Cherry Valley area. And I've been to Home Depot several times and shopping. And I noticed the Home Depot and Stater Brothers, a lot of these have put up plexiglass and taken precautions to protect their employees. And I think we need to trust the business people to take the necessary precautions to protect the people and get them open and get people back to work. I personally need to get a haircut. I need to get back to the gym. I do a lot of business in Beaumont, and I'm confident that I feel safe when I'm in Beaumont. So my remarks are, and I talked to the sheriff, he feels that we need to trust the people to do the right thing and social distance, and sick people are smart enough to stay home when they have a pneumonia or a bad cough or they're sick under doctor's care. So I think we need to move forward as fast as we can in the city of Beaumont and the other areas in the county to get back to normal. We can't let this be a new normal. You know, after 7 or 8 weeks of bombing in London during World War II, the people got disgusted. They went back to their shops and they went back to work. And this is not near as bad as what they went through. So I'd like to see the city council get aggressive and trust the people to do the right thing. And I'll just close with that and watch you on TV. And thank you for having the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you for calling. Okay, next.
Next speaker, Don, you have 3 minutes.
He's mute. That's Dan? Don?
I'm clicking the button, it's not going.
Hey, Don? Can you hear us? Okay. We could hear you, but we cannot understand you.
All right, give me just a second.
On the screen, it shows you still muted, Nicole.
Yeah, I'm clicking it and it's not letting me unmute.
You could be.
I'm going to move on to the next one and I'll come back and see if this one works. Eddie Thomas?
Eddie, are you there? Can you unmute?
I think this is something on our side. Hold on just a minute.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we're thinking the ones that aren't working is because there isn't a microphone on their end?
Hey, Nicole?
Yes.
one of these Zoom meetings that we were on with W. Orcog, I think isn't it like *9 to unmute your phone if you're calling in? But I don't know if that helps or not.
Right. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's.
I believe those are because they're set up through a phone bridge.
Yeah.
And so we're in the process of trying to get that technology set up. So this is really a webinar feature that we're trying to work through right now.
Okay. It's not giving me the option to unmute them. So I'm wondering if they don't have a microphone. I'm going to move down the line. Elaine Morgan.
There you go. I saw you unmute, Elaine. Elaine, can you hear us?
It looks like she's gone.
I saw she unmuted that. That's good.
Sylvia Carrillo, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we can.
Go ahead, Sylvia.
Thank you for having me. I just would like to point out to a Newsweek article that in Alabama, the stay-at-home order was working and the governor eased it in May. And 3 weeks later, the ICU beds in Montgomery are at capacity. Us and the Beaumont citizens, and please listen to public health officials and make sure that you are looking out for our safety and definitely employee safety. We see those employees every week at the grocery store and they help us in so many ways and they become family and we do care about them and just like they care about us. So thank you so much again for having us and thank you again for listening to the people. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sylvia. Thank you for your call.
Okay, next speaker is going to be Tom. Tom, can you hear us?
You still unmute that.
No, I'm not able to unmute.
I think it's at the under end.
I'm going to move down to the next one. I'm not able to unmute that one either.
It should be on their side.
Okay, I have some written comments. I can move to those ones.
Okay, go ahead.
I have a written comment from Chase Moore. He says, Mr. Santos, council members and community, my name is Chase Moore, president of the Beaumont Teachers Association. I am putting forward this statement tonight to ask the city to consider carefully how to proceed with reopening. When accepting recommendations from the Committee on Reopening Local Businesses, I ask that appropriate protections for workers are in place, and we do not simply leave workers to fend for themselves and trust everyone will do the right thing. Please continue to provide safeguards for the workers in our community. It is vital that businesses reopen, but it must be done safely.
Very good. Thank you.
Next comment is from Steve Melman. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Steve Melman. In addition to being City Clerk, I am a member of the California Senior Legislature and the Riverside County Council on Aging. I am pleased that you are considering a plan to reopen our economy. I realize that the consequences of this catastrophic pandemic have been devastating to our business community. However, I ask that you keep in mind that more than 1 in 5 Beaumont residents is age 65 and older. That means that you have a special obligation to our citizens to ensure that our economy reopens safely, not just quickly. Many of the businesses that have already reopened require their customers to wear face masks and practice social distancing where possible. This is the best method currently available to help stop the spread of the virus. I commend these businesses for their regard for the safety of their customers and employees. I encourage other businesses to do the same. And I ask the Council to either require or strongly recommend the use of face masks when possible, social distancing in their guidelines for opening Beaumont businesses. On the other hand, a restaurant owner in a nearby community has invited hundreds of people to attend a 4th of July festival without masks or social distancing so they can, and I quote, party like it's 1999. Quite frankly, for a business owner to have such little regard for safety of his customers and employees is, in my view, disgusting. We can do better than that here in Beaumont. We can reopen the economy with temporary, reasonable guidelines to ensure the health and well-being of our citizens. I urge you to do so.
Thank you, Steve.
Next comment is from Denise Featherstone. Dear Beaumont City Council members, I live in Four Seasons, Beaumont, and have been sheltering in place for 2 months. I wear a face mask when I leave the community to go shopping or to the doctor, etc. I am concerned that the safety regulations recommended by scientists are at risk of being ignored in a rush to open the economy. It is up to our city, county, state leaders to be sure that both workers and clients and visitors are taking the necessary steps to protect themselves and others from COVID-19. I believe that it is extremely important that everyone continue to be required to wear face masks and practice social distancing while out and about in public businesses and buildings. While masks aren't particularly comfortable and social distancing isn't always easy, the lives that these actions save are worth it. Please help keep everyone in our community safe as steps are taken to reopen our economy.
Thank you, Denise.
Next comment is from Eddie Thomas. Good evening, this must be a forwarded message. Good evening, my name is Eloy Alvarez, and I am the Regional Director for SEIU Local 721. We represent city employees within Beaumont and throughout Riverside County. Riverside has the second highest number of coronavirus cases among the state's 58 counties and the second most deaths. As of May 20th, 2020, the county has increased by 2.6% of confirmed cases and 14 more deaths. Riverside County now has 6,343 confirmed cases and 284 people who have lost their lives to this virus. We all want to reopen our communities, but we must do so with the health and safety of our neighbors in mind. We must develop a comprehensive plan that follows the recommendations by the public health officer to properly inform employers about what procedures to have in place to protect their customers, avoid safety violations, and open their businesses. We are willing to engage in reopening in coordination with city officials when such a move is backed by science and data.
Very good. Thank you, Eloy.
Next comment is a forward from Eddie Thomas. We want to encourage that as the city plans to develop recommended guidelines to reopen businesses, that labor and frontline workers' voices are taken into consideration. We want to ensure that this process happens in a safe and responsible manner that takes into consideration the health of all workers and the community we serve. And I've received a couple more in my email. Nancy Sappington says, please add these comments into the record. 1, authorized to form an ad hoc committee. Oh, she's putting the title. Sorry. City officials should follow state guidelines regarding reopening. Any move to go against the already existing guidelines puts the city's businesses at risk of losing their professional licenses. Everyone agrees that businesses are hurting, but jumping the gun on reopening will likely create a risk in the number of cases of COVID-19 and overrun our medical facilities. If reopening is done based on data and science, more deaths can be prevented. Furthermore, the governor has already taken steps for gradual reopening of the state. It seems that appointing a special committee is redundant and a waste of time and money. Instead, local governments should be advocating for more state and federal aid to assist those who have been most impacted by the pandemic.
Okay, thank you.
Next comment is from Monica Rice. City Council, my youngest is leaving Starlight and joining his sister at San Gregorio next year. I'm a 4th grade teacher here in Beaumont at Three Rings Ranch. I remember one morning driving to work after dropping my kid off at school and seeing a car accident. I just knew that the effects of the accident were going to enter my classroom that day. It didn't matter the accident was on the other side of town. We all knew each other here in Beaumont. We are all connected. I do not want to return to school in the fall and have to hear my students talk about how they lost family and friends because we opened up the city too quickly without guidelines. It is unclear why Beaumont thinks that they understand the transmission of the virus better than the experts from the state who are actively working to create guidelines based on scientific evidence to support a safe reopening of business. Don't be in a hurry to push our friends and family into harm.
Thank you, Monica.
And the last written comment I have is from Elaine Morgan. I would like to ask that the website of information that is developed by the city not be designed with links to outside information. I think it's important that people not have to dissect the information on their own, but know the guidance that the city is giving to the residents once the city has researched the available information from federal, state, and county levels.
Thank you, Elaine. Is there any other call?
I have no new attendees. No other comments.
Okay, very good. Hey, thank you so much. All the the phone calls and the email that we received. That it says a lot. I mean, that you really concerned about our city, and we on the council really, dedicated for you, the city of Beaumont, and just like Glenn Stahl mentioned, I haven't had a haircut for 2 months already on here, so just waiting for really opening for that. So let's move on. And is there any other comment before we go on the appointment?
Mr. Mayor,
John Pinkney.
Pardon me. Oh, that's John.
Yeah, this
is that you?
attorney. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're not on the screen.
Hold on, I have to.
So
Hold on, John. Hold on.
We can hear him. He's good to go.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Go ahead, John. We can hear you.
before the council.
Hold on.
Very briefly, I wanted to make a comment before the council moves forward with forming the subcommittee. Councilmember White made the suggestion that it should just be a minority of the council, and the benefit of doing that and just keeping a minority of the council is, I understand this will be an ad hoc committee, and you won't need to notice those meetings pursuant to the Brown Act. It won't be a Brown Act body. If you add other people to the committee, then it becomes a Brown Act body, people other than council members. And then you'll have to notice the meetings, and that could be very cumbersome in terms of being able to move forward and move quickly. In addition to that, if you put people other than a minority of the council on the committee, then a majority of those people won't be able to pick up the phone and call each other and work through things as issues come up or news develops. And, this is a fluid situation, and I think this is an ideal situation for an ad hoc committee composed just of a minority of the council so that it can move quickly and, they can pick up the phone and talk to each other when events occur or news breaks or new information is made available.
That's good, John. That's a good clarification on that. We have questions in here or raised by hand by Nancy Carroll. Council Nancy Carroll? Wait, you have to mute. Unmute. There
Sorry,
you go.
I'm listening too long to the comments. I don't know when is appropriate, but I think we should, I take our city attorney's advice to heart. I think a two-person ad hoc committee is a good idea. I have faith in whoever you appoint, Mayor, and I also really liked the direction that Councilmember Laura's mission was going in. I thought it was loose, but yet defining what it is that this ad hoc council should, or subcommittee should go after. So I don't know if it's time yet or not, but I'd be happy to make a motion that the mayor appoint two council members. As you know, I've already withdrawn from consideration, so I don't have a dog in the hunt. And but I think that it's appropriate that we do so.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Council Carroll. Any other comment?
Mayor, I'd like to amend Councilman Carroll's motion to include what she had said, but I think we should formalize that our mission will be based along the lines of what Councilman Laura put forth, and we can sort of finalize that with the two council members who are on the committee.
Okay, agree on that. Okay, we got the
So is that a motion in a second?
is that Lloyd, is that amendment on that and a second? If not, somebody has to do a motion in here. I mean, a acceptance on that.
I accept the amendment. So does that mean we now have a motion and a second?
Yeah, if you accept the amendment, then you have your motion as amended, and it sounds like a second.
All right, thank you.
Okay, very good. We just move on. Before we do the appointment in here, I would like you're right. I mean, the council is very, very good. I mean, the first thing we have to do really is to do the our goal, and also the what direction are we going. I mean, I like the two person that will be appointed in there to be really, really not aggressive. I mean, really tactful on any things that we will encounter with the and also needs of the businesses in there. And I know that we will do that, and also reporting to the council on this kind of task. On my side, I will we will be step back, and then I will appoint the two that that I think will be really, really appropriate on this appointment. And everybody, I mean, four of you, I mean, discussed and delivered the way you delivered. And I would like to appoint the two council. One
Mayor?
is yes.
Mayor, I think we need to vote before you appoint.
I do need a vote on the first motion and second.
Okay. Yeah, that's why we will do that. I mean, so there's a two appointments in there, and then we will vote on that motion.
No, I think
Nancy, I mean, Nicole.
we need to vote on the motion, and then you can do the appointment.
Is the city attorney still there?
Yes, I'm here, and that's correct. You need to vote. The motion was to have the mayor appoint and also to adopt that mission statement. And so you need to vote on that, and then the mayor will have the authority to appoint two council members.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
So the motion was by Nancy Carroll, the second by Lloyd White. I'll do a roll call.
Yes.
Councilmember White?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Councilmember Carroll?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Lara?
Yes.
Mayor Santos?
Yes. Okay. Hey, John, you said we will do the adoption of the, the one Mayor Pro Temp, statement?
That was done already. So now you can appoint.
Okay, thank you. So I'll do the appointment. As I said, I mean, I heard the, the statement that we make. I'm appointing, Councilman, Julio Martinez and Mayor Pro Temp Mike Lara. Okay. We need
Mayor?
Okay, can you make some statement? I mean, go ahead, Mayor Pro Temp Lara.
Thank you so much for the appointment. If it pleases the mayor, I can go ahead and have Councilmember White, since he kind of initiated everything, work with Julio Martinez, if that's okay with you.
I believe it's the mayor's appointment.
Okay.
Correct? So if you decline, he moves on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mayor, I would like to make a case for my appointment to the committee.
Mayor, thank you so much, and I will respectfully decline at this point.
Okay. Let me go to Julio Martinez. I mean, what's your comment on that before I go back to Mayor Pro Temp Mike Lara?
Well, I respectfully accept. So I will accept, and thank you for that confidence in me. So I will and we, it's your appointment. I thought Mr. Lara would be a good addition since he is a part of the economic committee and probably has some ties already with the community. I thought that would be appropriate. But again, I won't make a comment on your decision. I'll just respectfully accept mine. So thank you.
Thank you. That's the way my feeling too. I mean, go ahead and you have a comment?
Yes, Mayor, I was just I guess state the obvious is that you had 4 council members and 2 have declined. So really you have Councilman White and Councilman Martinez left.
Okay.
For that appointment if they, and Mr. Martinez did accept, so you have 1 outstanding appointment to make in spite of in addition to yourself, so.
Yeah. Okay, so it means that I could, be, actually, originally I like to be part of this committee on this. I mean, I will, if Mayor Pro Temp, decline it, I would like to be part of that, committee on that. With Council Julio Martinez. Is that, is John there? I mean, is that, breaking anything on that?
Can you hear me?
Now we could hear you, John.
Yeah, sorry about that feedback. Yes, you can appoint yourself and Councilmember Martinez.
Okay, very good. So we got the 2 appointments. Will be, Julio Martinez, Councilor Julio Martinez, and Mayor Ray Santos on this ad hoc. And I would like, to express that, I like a time frame on this within 30 days to 45 days that, we do the work on this so we could, report it to the council.
Mayor, may I make a comment, please?
Sure, go ahead.
I think the whole purpose of this special meeting and moving forward with a 2-person committee was to act quickly and in an agile manner. And I think setting an expectation of 45 days defeats the purpose of doing what we're doing tonight.
I think, Councilor White, what we're going to do is actually we're going to start now on this. Because of the statement with Mayor Pro Temp Lara, we will adopt that and then I'll do the any other adjustment on that, and you will have that as early as soon as possible on this. But what I'm saying is, the 30 days, 45 days, we should be done. I mean, done on this. I mean, we'll be reporting to the council on a periodically, manner on this.
Mayor, I respectfully disagree. I don't think this is something that's done in 30 to 45 days. Number one, I think you need to move quicker, but at the same time, setting a limit of 30 to 45 days when we don't know what's going to happen. We still have a lot of businesses that are in stage 3. And, when are we going to enter stage 3? And I do want to finish with the final comment. I have been leading this, the direction of the council on this. I presented it over 3 meetings ago. I then came out 2 meetings ago with a letter that I asked that you folks would support. And there was some feedback that it wasn't exactly what you wanted. And I conceded and said, go ahead, I will support whatever you do determine. Again, on Tuesday, I was the one who pushed for this special meeting to address this. And at that time, we didn't know where the state was going to be and what the state was going to do today. And I just think it's that I should have been considered to be on the committee. And I'm very disappointed.
Sorry about that. Thank you. Julio Martinez, Council?
Yeah, so Mayor, I think as we get together for our first meeting, we'll discuss whether, how that timeline and those parameters, and, if it looks like it's more feasible to speed that timeline up, we can probably discuss that. So, I'd like to put that as one of our topics when we meet. But other than that, I do agree we will get started soon on this, immediately, actually. And I look forward to starting with this. And I welcome anyone's opinion and anybody's comments. They can email it to us, and I appreciate, and I look forward to getting started. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. So I could it says on my thing in here, future agenda, but I could move on. If there's no other comment, I could adjourn this at 6:58. Thank you.